Good morning. This time let us discuss about quantitative research. We have the lesson 1 that talks about the nature of inquiry, investigation, immersion, and research. We have the objectives. At the end of this lesson, the students are expected to demonstrate their understanding about the overview of the research subjects offered in the senior high school curriculum. And the last one we have explain the importance of inquiry, investigation, and immersion in conducting a research. Let's have first the overview of the senior high school research subjects. We have the first one is the qualitative research, and that is practical research 1. It has no prerequisite. It is usually offered on the second semester of grade 11 curriculum. This means that students have already taken up some English and Filipino subjects before practical research 1 is offered. The foundation of writing a qualitative research is expertise in language. Qualitative research is a scientific method of observation to gather non-numerical data. It refers to the meanings, concepts, characteristics, metaphors, symbols, and description of phenomena, and not to their counts or measures. Qualitative research is making cuento without cuenta of an event or phenomenon. This means that a researcher is going to give meanings to the topic that interests them. Giving meanings to a particular problem requires expertise in writing composition. Thus, qualitative research usually textual form in making cuento. This research does not apply statistical tools. We have the quantitative research, and that's practical research too. It has a prerequisite, and that is the statistics and probability. It is usually offered on the first semester of grade 12 curriculum. It is expected that students are already equipped with simple and complex writing of compositions, following the basic and advanced grammar rules, particularly the subject-verb agreement. Tenses of the verb changing from active voice sentences into passive voice sentences or vice versa. Students are also expected that they are already knowledgeable in sampling technique, descriptive and inferential statistical tools such as standard deviation, frequency, percentage, weighted mean, t-test, z-test, analysis of variance or the ANOVA, person product moment correlation, person R, and the regression. A student is not allowed to take up a practical research tool if he has not yet taken up statistics and probability, since practical research tool is applying the concepts of statistics in sample techniques and hypothesis testing as well as in data analysis and interpretation. The foundations in writing the quantitative research are language and statistics. Statistical software such as Microsoft Excel and statistical package for social sciences, or that is the SPSS, are very applicable in quantitative research. Computer software gives only the statistical findings. It does not analyze or interpret the data. Analysis and interpretation of statistical data lies on expertise of the researcher with the help of his research consultants or the advisor. So again, the qualitative research that is making cuento without cuenta of a certain event or phenomenon, while the quantitative research doing cuenta with cuento of a certain event or phenomenon. Next here we have the inquiries, investigations, and immersion. Is the third research subject offered to all students from different tracks or strands of senior high school curriculum. Its prerequisites are Practical Research 1 and Practical Research 2. It is offered in the second semester of the grade 12 curriculum. It is the culminating research subject since final defense of the completed researches will be conducted. Students will be going to defend their research outputs before examining the committee and invited panel of adjudicators. Students have the option which of the Practical Research 1 or Practical Research 2 proposals they are going to continue for their inquiries, investigations, and immersion subject. They can have also the mixed methods of qualitative and quantitative researches to have best research outputs. But for the STEM students, we are trying to encourage that the STEM students will have a proposal for the science investigatory project or for math investigatory project, or it only tackles for the STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, for them to prepare for their research capstone. Research capstone is a research subject exclusively offered for students from STEM curriculum. Its prerequisites are Practical Research 1 and Practical Research 2. It is offered in the second semester of grade 12 curriculum. This means that the students have two research subjects in the second semester of the grade 12. That's if the first one is the inquiries, investigation, and the immersion, and the research capstone. Pure science topics will be the focus of the research capstone. Actual conduct of science investigatory project will be observed in the research capstone. STEM students should really exert effort so that they can produce two very researches in inquiries, investigations, and immersion in the research capstone. But we have agreed that on the research capstone, inquiries, investigation, and immersion, we can have only one output for that for the STEM students. Next, here we have, let's define what is the difference between the inquiry versus investigation. Inquiry is an act of asking questions. It is a process that has the aim of augmenting knowledge through resolving doubt or resolving problem. In dictionary, inquiry is synonymous with the word investigation. However, investigation has a deeper meaning. We are talking about research processes. It is a systematic examination of the research, certain event or phenomenon. It is closely related to research. What makes research different from investigation is that the former undergoes the immersion. Examples of the inquiries are: what is your ambition in life? Who is your favorite teacher? How much is the monthly amortization of your loan? Why is the research important in improving person's life? How does research help the teacher for their career development? That's an example of the inquiry. This time, let's have an examples for an investigation. Example: who is the prime suspect of this major violation of the school policy? Another: what are the reasons why a group of students led to the creation of the first ever gong in the school. Next, why does this bullying incident occur in the school? Why did student A physically hurt student B, which resulted to the minor fracture of the latter's leg? Who is behind the stealing of the school's closed circuit television or the CCTV footage? Okay, that's an example of an investigation. Again, the inquiry is just merely asking questions, while the investigation you have to undergo a deeper understanding or to have to undergo a systematic investigation wherein there is an examination involved. Next here, let's define what is an immersion. An immersion is a process whereby a researcher immerses deeply involves himself in the data gathering activities, and the data he has gathered are carefully read or examined by him in details. Combining the idea of the inquiry, investigation, and immersion, the concept of research comes in. Okay, now let's have what is research. Again, the inquiry is only asking, let's go back here for the inquiry. For inquiry, that's merely asking questions. For investigation, there is a systematic procedure, and for the immersion, you have to involve yourself immersely, deeply involved. Let's define what research is. Research is a systematic and a refined technique of thinking, employing specialized tools, instruments, and procedures in order to obtain a more adequate solution to a problem. It starts with a problem, going to the collection of the data, analysis, and interpretation of introvertible facts and evidences, which are critical to reach decisions based on actual observation. It ends with a problem. That's a research. Research tools such as interview and a focus group discussion guide questions, particularly rapid appraisal, tape or voice recorder, and video camera, are used in the data gathering activities for a qualitative research. Research instruments such as checklist, survey questionnaire, and multiple choice paper pencil tests are employed in the collection of the quantitative research. Examples of research are how is bullying related to teenage depression? Okay, that's a problem, and if you're going to get data from that one using qualitative, we have to use a voice recording and interview, but for quantitative, we have to deal on the checklist or survey questionnaire. Let's have her. Okay, we have her a general reminder. Students are really required to answer all the essay question in paragraph forms. This is a training for them to improve their writing skills, and eventually they can write their own researches. They are expected to have their full competence in basic writing composition, following the correct grammar rules, particularly the subject-verb agreement and tenses of the verb, since they have already taken up many language subjects. They are required to write first the essay questions before the answers. In every task, they need to write their name, section, name of teacher. Why there's a need for the students to write their answer in a paragraph forms? It's because it's their preparation on how to deal with their languages, their composition skills, because in research they have to write. So that's the practice for that. Okay, so we have for an activity. You have to answer the following questions in paragraph forms, and that's your task, your first task. Okay, we have the questions. Again, you have to write them on a paragraph form. How does inquiry differ from investigation? Compare and contrast investigation and research. How is immersion is done in conducting a research? Differentiate the two research subjects, the inquiries, investigation and immersion, and a research capstone. Elaborate this statement. Qualitative research is making cuento without cuenta of a certain phenomenon. Explain this equation. Quantitative research equals statistics language. Last one, we have give two questions which are classified as inquiries, investigations, and researches. Two for inquiries, two for investigation, and two for researches. Okay, I guess that would be all for today. Thank you for listening. Please have your answer on your activity notebook. God bless. Bye everyone.